It was a regular Thursday evening. I was sitting on my couch, scrolling mindlessly through my phone. My apartment was quiet, except for the faint hum of the fridge in the kitchen. It was one of those nights where nothing felt out of the ordinary, until my phone rang. The number was unknown. I hesitated for a second. Normally, I'd let it go to voicemail, but for some reason, my thumb tapped answer.
"Hello?" I said cautiously. There was a pause on the other end. Then a man's voice came through. It was calm, but felt strange. "Hi," he said. "I think I dialed the wrong number." "No problem," I replied, ready to hang up. But before I could, he said, "Wait, before you go, are you alone?"
I froze. The question felt odd, invasive. My gut told me to hang up, but instead I stupidly asked, "Why?" "Just curious," he said, his tone still eerily casual. "You should lock your door." Chills ran down my spine. My front door was already locked, or at least I thought it was. I stood up and walked to the door with the phone still pressed to my ear. The deadbolt was in place. "It's locked," I said, trying to sound confident. "Who is this?" The man chuckled softly, a sound that made my skin crawl. "Just someone who thinks safety is important." I didn't respond. I was done with this conversation. I hung up, heart pounding. The uneasy feeling lingered, but I told myself it was just a prank call. People do weird stuff sometimes, right? I sat back down and tried to focus on the TV, but I couldn't shake the uneasiness. 15 minutes later, my phone buzzed again. Same number. This time, I let it ring. It stopped, but a second later, a text came through. "You didn't check the back door." My stomach dropped. I lived alone in a small apartment, and the back door led to a tiny balcony. I hadn't used it in weeks. Slowly, I got up, every nerve in my body on edge. The lock on the back door was intact, but I noticed something I hadn't earlier. A faint smudge on the glass, like someone had pressed their hand against it. My phone buzzed again. Another text. "Nice try. I'm already inside." Panic took over. I grabbed the nearest object, a heavy glass vase, and dialed 911 with my other hand. The operator's voice was calm, but mine wasn't. I whispered that someone was in my apartment and that I needed help. The operator told me to stay on the line and find a safe place to hide. I crept into my bedroom and locked the door. My ears were straining to hear any sound from the rest of the apartment. And then I heard a faint creak of a floorboard. Someone was in the living room. I held my breath, clutching the vase like it was my only lifeline. My hands were shaking so badly I thought I'd drop it. The operator kept talking, trying to keep me calm, but I barely heard her. The footsteps got closer. They stopped just outside my bedroom door. My mind was racing. What did they want? How did they get in? I held my breath as the doorknob rattled. It wasn't locked securely. It was one of those cheap locks that could easily be forced open. And then, silence. No footsteps. No voices. Nothing. Minutes felt like hours. When the police finally arrived, I ran out to meet them, still clutching the vase. They searched the apartment, but whoever had been inside was gone. No signs of forced entry. But just as I started to feel relief, one of the officers called me over to the living room. "Ma'am," he said, holding up something. It was a small, handwritten note left on the coffee table. It read, "Next time, lock the back door properly." The officer looked at me with concern. "Did you write this?" I shook my head. my legs feeling like they'd give out beneath me. And then I noticed something else. The smudge on the balcony door wasn't there anymore. The glass was wiped clean. Whoever it was, they had time to tidy up before leaving. I moved out the next week, but I still can't sleep without checking every lock at least 3 times. Sometimes I wonder if they're still watching, waiting for the next time I make a mistake.